What is a completely random fact that doesn't sound true but actually is? In 1967 the United States and Russia signed a deal that said that they won't nuke the moon. That was also the year Australian Aborigines were classified as humans. Up until that point they were considered native fauna. Edit. Turns out this is not in fact true. I shall hang my head in shame. The coast of France has had Garfield phones washing ashore since the 1980s. Like, actual phones in the shape of Garfield the cat. What? Why? From what I remember, a cargo container holding hundreds of these fell off a cargo ship. But someone may have to correct me on that. As if they are still washing up. That's incredible. It's both incredibly fun and incredibly sad, because it just goes to show how long stuff floats around in the ocean after we put it there. New York's Central Park is larger than the country of Monaco. Was in Monaco last month and was staying in Nice. About 40-minute drive I think, and had to get an Uber, but Monaco doesn't have Uber. Had to run to the French border to get the Uber. I literally ran the entire length of the country and took me 13 minutes. Was a bizarre experience. In Japan, eating KFC is a Christmas tradition that was started by a huge marketing campaign in 1974. Pizza Hut in China is considered to be a nice restaurant with a top-notch salad bar and seafood. If you haven't heard about their salad bar, look up salad bar stacking in China. Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut in America used to be a more upscale restaurant when I was a kid, 1970s to 80s, with a salad bar, served alcohol, tablecloths, etc. At least it was in my town. I wouldn't say it was upscale of terms of a nice restaurant, but definitely was a real restaurant. I used to love going as a kid. I would say it www closer to you-knows, minus the great beer selection. Now it's essentially a tequila chain pizzeria. Bees vomit the nectar in each other's mouth multiple times until it becomes honey. Honey equals bee vomit. Got it. Lovely jubbly. It's like if you vomited and your friend eat it and vomited again, and then another friend eat it and vomited and so on. Tried this. Still no honey. Need more friends. This isn't that unbelievable, but it's a random and really cute fact that this post made me think of. An experiment was conducted with 2 mice, separated by a wall with a door. The door could only be opened by mouse A. The experimenters, or whatever you call them, started filling up Mouse B's room with water. Mouse B started squeaking in distress, and Mouse A heard and opened the door to save Mouse B. It's not that groundbreaking, but I thought it was adorable when I heard about it. I haven't heard about this with mice, but there's evidence out there for rats showing empathy too. They'll put one rat in a tiny box, not to the point of being painful, but to make it uncomfortable and greatly restricted. And there will be a way to open the box from the outside. Then they'll put another rat in the testing area, even without any conditioning or hope for any kind of reward. The second rat will try to figure out how to free the rat stuck in the box. Evolution is crazy. Evolution is crazy. Not crazy at all. The ultimate goal for all species is a continuation of said species. It doesn't benefit this goal to let others of your group suffer or die. The fact that some people seem to find this so astounding makes me kind of sad actually. If you were this rat, wouldn't you help the other rat out even without promises of a reward? I always assumed most people would. But then I saw a man fall to the floor in a packed supermarket, and I was the only one to react and check up on him. A clear bystander effect, and it felt so surreal. It seemed like time slowed down, and I saw everyone gawk at him and walking on when I ran to help. Only when I started calling out commands. You lady in the red coat, call 911. You dude with the big glasses, make sure I have room to do CPR etc. Some people got into action but no one wanted to do the hands-on work. Luckily an ambulance was close, but it sucked, having to do CPR for 10 minutes straight and no one stepping in to help me out. I'm only one small woman and I'm not very fit. I was beat after the whole ordeal. Even called my boyfriend to come pick me up because I was too tired to walk back home with 3 days worth of groceries. And sure, there is COVID, but I can't just let someone die in front of me, even with a pandemic. I'm still quarantining because I put myself at risk, but I couldn't just stand there and not do everything I was taught. Even on the news they said we don't have to do mouth to mouth anymore, but since it's a vital part, I chose to. But anyone cold done the compressions with their mask on. But in the end, the man survived. I got a quarter band from the emergency personnel to leave my info behind if he or his relatives ever wanted contact. They sent me flowers and a thank you note for saving their dad/grandfather. We agreed to keep in touch and maybe drink coffee together when COVID is finally over. Iran arrested 14 squirrels for spying in 2007. Those guys are nuts. Take my upvote and get out of here. In 1793, the new United States needed a common measure system. So T. Jefferson wrote to France, and they sent some continental measurements to establish new system in the states. Unfortunately, a big storm forced the ship way south, and it was intercepted by British pirates. And that is a reason why the USA has imperial and not metric units. Wait, really? In older times, the slang slut was used for the women who couldn't keep a clean bedroom. Could technically be used the same way today. Bears can run faster than horses. So you're saying we should switch to bear power as a unit of measurement? You'd need to measure the rate at which bears could do work for that, not how fast they can run. So you're saying it's possible then? Well, actually, yeah. They could have done it with this guy if they'd taken measurements. Sounds like the start of a shower thought. We've all kicked a pregnant lady. Took me a while to get this. The time between Pluto being discovered and Pluto no longer qualifying as a planet was less than 1 year on Pluto. That was Pluto's 2020. Australia exports sand and camels to the Middle East. This hurts my brain. Its causes are better. See. Carrots used to be purple. A Dutch farmer grew an orange carrot, and because he was a supporter of the House of Orange he kept growing them. A lot of vegetables are man-made, like broccoli for example. Corn used to just be grass. Very true. Edit. Corn was the result of ancient genetic engineering by the Mayans. Also, potatoes used to be poisonous until they engineered them as well. This thread is starting to become a maze. The Germans have a word, Drachenfutter, for which they're no English counterpart. Literally, it's feeding the dragon. But the meaning is to offer a gift of appeasement to a spouse who's mad at you. Correction. In English it means I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. By population, the third biggest country in the world is still the third biggest country, even if it had 1 billion more people. What? The US is the third largest country by population. But the gap is so big between it and the second largest, India, that even if the US had 1 billion more people, it would still be in third place. Oh, that makes sense. I don't know why, but the comment I replied to was difficult to comprehend at first. It makes perfect sense now. Just like skilling in RuneScape or Mayo. If you have a penetrating trauma to one eye, the other one can develop an inflammatory reaction months or years after. It's called sympathetic ophthalmia. Interesting. I had an accident 10 years ago where glass shards entered my right eye and they had to tack my detached retina and remove my lens. I developed glaucoma, but strangely enough, when they check the pressure it is worse in my left eye which didn't get any glass in it during the accident. The doctors have always been perplexed, and I have been asked many times whether my left eye experienced trauma. Now I will have to read more on this and tell them at my next appointment. In ancient Rome, gladiators used to do paid advertisements for things like olive oil. The Tyrannosaurus Rex lived closer in time to the moon landing than it did to the Stegosaurus. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. You can fit all of the planets side by side between Earth and the moon. I don't think I can. Yeah, maybe you couldn't. But I saw Mark do it the other day. That F-King show off. The lion, the witch, and the audacity of this bitch. US Navy trains dolphins, seals, and walruses for military use. Russia has trained seals too. I've heard of these Navy seals. Not the S.E.A.Ls, the arf kind. You mean Neil McBeal, the Navy SEAL? Zombies exist. They are very real. It's just that humans can't turn into zombies as far as we know. But ants, spiders, and other bugs have been known to get infected by certain types of fungi that mind controls them. They basically kill them and just make their bodies move around to spread the fungus further. This is what inspired the zombies from The Last of Us to be created. The creature is not dead in those scenarios, simply dying. So it's more like a rabies than zombies. And we can all get rabies. Rabies is fucking horrifying. Maybe we should do a charity run for rabies. There are so many different varieties of apples that you could eat a different one every day for 20 years and still not have eaten every kind. That's because apples are not true to seed. Every pristine apple tree is a different variety. Commercial apples trees are grafted, limbs transplanted from one tree to another. The apples you buy in stores are all clones. I have the world's worst apple tree in my yard. I think if it got some TLC it might be halfway decent. But right now people just come and take them for feed. Great for a little bit for local bees. And impossible to navigate my yard when it's in bloom. I'm confused. Why would TLC make it better? If the apples are tasty, then you can't change that. You could maybe graft on a new variety, but the main branches are still going to produce the same apples. I feel like the apples aren't good because they don't get to fully mature before they drop. We get a few big ones that stay on longer and get a nice deep speckled red instead of the smaller red/green ones that usually drop off it. They are still tart, but not in a bad way. The less mature ones have this weird quality where it almost seems as if they are actively drying your mouth out. I'm not the home meower and as far as I know, no one has ever properly cared for the tree. I'm no arborist, but I understand that the trees require an element of care to get better or higher quality yields. It just kind of seems like a raggedy old mess right now. The London Underground mosquito is a distinct species of mosquito, endemic to subway systems. London Underground mosquito is a really good name for a punk band. Edit, name. 99% of the mass of our solar system is just the sun. Fat bastard. Sharks are older than trees. The first tree evolved somewhere around 322 to 280 million years ago. The first shark around 400 million years ago. I misread Shark as Shrek, so now I have a Shrek fact. Shrek and Han Solo have the same outfit. This reminds me of the time I realized Chip and Dale are dressed like Indiana Jones and Magnum Pie. Also, they are called different in my country, so finding out they are called Chip and Dale originally blew my mind. Dolphins get high off a nerve toxin released by pufferfish and then start passing them around. They also rape each other and masturbate by putting dead fish on their dicks. You cold just stop on the first fact you know. Now I can't unsee the image of a dolphin using a dead fish to masturbate. Puff puff pass. There is not a single bridge across the Amazon River. It is more than 300 miles long. The only bridge is the Rio Negro Bridge, which opened in 2010. It connects the banks of the Rio Negro River, which is a tributary of the Amazon. Doesn't it basically go through where nobody lives? I know people really don't live near the interior. Contradicting my own thought. I've always thought of it as a waterway with heavy traffic lol. There's the metropolises of Manaus and Iquitos, but nothing in between really. Nowhere to build a bridge to. Acre doesn't exist.